for Trey!
Things I fear, the things that plague me when I see and hear.
Oh yeah, so we'll let that one play out for a little bit. Hi, my name's Trey. This is Mike. Mike, stand. Thanks for the giggles. I appreciate it. Yeah, my name's Trey. It's a really big name in the service industry to be called Trey. Usually whenever I go out to people, I'm like, how you doing? My name's Trey. And they're like, oh, I guess dinner's on you. And I'm like, no, dinner's going to be on the house if you keep that shit up. No, it turns out I'm the comedian. No, isn't that weird? It's kind of funny how life works. I'm not a comedian full-time. I'm also a firefighter. So we have different crazy things, like crazy calls that people come in. Like people call about absolutely anything, which is perfectly fine. This one memorable call we got was for this guy. He had a stomach ache. He's been having it for like a week. And I was like, man, what did you eat anything? He's like, no, I didn't eat anything. And I was like, well, that's probably why your stomach hurts. He's like, no, it was before that. I was like, well, when? When did it start? He's like, well, it started around the time that my girlfriend was over. And I was like, really? I was like, so you and your girlfriend have had stomach aches at the same time? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, it sounds to me like, and he's like, I'm on my period. And I was like, no, man, I don't think you have the required equipment, but, are you bleeding from anywhere? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, I think what you need to do is go to Walgreens and get yourself a pack of man-pawns. The is good enough for me. I'll take the Yeah, so I'm coming to New Orleans by way of Austin. I'm actually born and raised in New Orleans. And Austin and New Orleans have a lot of similarities, specifically with this epidemic of homeless people. Now, New Orleans homeless people are a little different. You can be like, go on, go! And they will go behind a levee and catch an animal and try to sell it back to you. But in Austin, they're a little bit more bold. And I'm talking about the first time I ever arrived in Austin, there was a dude in the middle of the sidewalk, about as far as you are from me right now, just jerking off. I'm talking straight up summoning a semen demon right there in front of everybody for them to see. And he also had a sign that said, we'll jerk for food. He had a lot of food. So he also had a coat over his face. And, because, I've been desensitized from being in New Orleans all my life, I was just like, how in the hell did he afford a North Face jacket? That's the first thing I thought of. Right. I kept going though. I ended up at this convenience store. And in this convenience store, they had like two other people, right? And I'm standing in line to pay for my stuff, and then I just get a pop right in the back of my head. Oh! I turn around, and I was like, oh, you tard? And I look, and it just so happened to be a mom and her autistic son. I effed up pretty bad. I said the N-word for R words. I ran out there real quick. So we don't want to do that. So now I have to watch what I say. Especially because the second thing I did in Austin, I was striking out from the moment I got there. See, I'm kind of newly single, right? And being newly single, you start to, date people with, lower expectations, right? And that's exactly what I did. I asked this girl for a number. She happened to be homeless, and she was like, "Oh no, thank you. I'm working on a better life." I was like, "Oh fuck, dude." I imagined our life together, I would. Just be bringing her home, and I try to cook her some meals, and she would help me out with it because, she's a better panhandler than I am. I imagined us watching movies together, like Avatar. You ever seen that movie Avatar? I always felt like it was pretty convenient that they made him physically handicapped instead of mentally handicapped. Because you can't have a bunch of avatars running around. Anyway, that's my time. Love y'all. Thank you so much for allowing me to do some comedy.
Things I say. She turned toward me, then she turned away.
Give it up, everybody! Trey, all the way from Austin!